say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
I'm Aziz Hamid from India. I'm pursuing my higher education here in Canada. Being an international student, I often wonder if things are different in other Western countries. Let's say United States. Back home in India, US and Canada is considered one cultural unit, but there are plenty of differences in between these two North American giants. To highlight this aspect, I have with me Mr. Pratik Thakkar, who have stayed, worked, and studied in both the countries for significant amount of time. And he says all the time, Canada is different from the US. Let's hear it directly from the man himself. Hi, Mr. Pratik. Welcome to my podcast, and I hope I gave the right introduction.
Hey Aziz, how's it going, man? So yeah, you have done wonderful job when you say that I have done work and study both the countries, and yeah, it make I personally feel that the both countries are the same at the same time they both are different, and especially when it's come to work or study or grocery shopping are different from the state than in the Canada.
So, as an international student, we tend to look Western countries as one unit, but it's pretty different, right? Uh, because I'm going to ask you what's major difference between the United States and Canada, which you have experienced personally.
So, I think I have been in the state for more than 6 years. I've been in the Canada for more than a year now, and both countries have so much thing in common and so many things and different. So when let's just talk about. So I moved to state in 2014. Um, I've been there for student study visa. Like the people, most of them, he come over here on the study visa. So I came there. I went there in 2014 as a student permit. So yeah, I have applied for so many things before I apply for even individually college or universities. When we looked when I was in India, what we tend to see is the universities, only universities, not colleges. When we talk about Canada, as a student, we always look for options, either college, universities. I never look for that one. I only straight have a focus that, hey, I want to go to the university, I want to finish my study, and then I did it. So it was quite a journey for me. Let's talk about the work itself. So as a student, in likewise in the Canada, you cannot work. So if you are in a study permit, you cannot work 20 hours that you are working here in Canada. So that thing particularly is different. But as a student, you can work in campus or either out campus after you finish your study. And they have like a whole other virtue which we call OPT, CPT, that we learn later if we have time.
So, what about people? As they say, Canadians are more polite while Americans are rude. Have you experienced that?
I,
Personally,
see,
yes.
I personally say people are people. There are no much of difference when it comes to people. Yeah, definitely cultural difference is always there. Racial difference is there. When it's come to Canada, people are, yeah, definitely has a more polite way to welcome people. When it's come to state, um, they don't care about who you are. You are the person like them. They don't have a social life that we sometimes see here. They have a little different concept than here. But yeah, definitely people. Let's just say, yeah, Canada is more polite in a way.
So US is better than Canada in what terms? Maybe infrastructure, diverse population. For example, you said that Walmarts are really, really huge in the States, right?
Yeah, actually, the Walmart made by Sam Jones. So we all know the Sam Waltons made Walmart and World War One, World War Two times. So they have a huge chain when we talk about Walmart itself. So grocery shopping, in another aspect that I personally feel that different in the state and the Canada. In the state, I never see any Indian grocery in Walmarts. When I came over here, and like, yeah, Walmart has Indian grocery. I'm like, yeah, that's wonderful. But that particular structure or the way of seeing things is so many ways different.
So, as an immigrant, on a personal note, where would you prefer to live? Like long term or short term for immigrants like us, US
So
or Canada?
it's actually, I personally say it's a personal choice. When I'm talking about myself, yeah, the money is thing that people don't wanna pursue beginning of the time. So when I was pursuing my study, I was always look for where I can earn more money after finishing my completing my study. So I choose that. I've been there for 6 years. I worked there, as you said, and yeah, I worked there quite like more than 4 years in the States. So money wise is always good, but when we come to
But
like
Canada
family
is
time,
also good, right? There are so many things that Canada does better than US, apart from hockey and Tim Hortons, of course. So
so to be honest with you here, I never heard about Hortons before when I was in the state. When I moved
really,
here, and people like, yeah, I definitely never heard about Horton. Like, hey, there is some kind of change going on. I always have whenever I want a coffee, I always go to the Starbucks. When I come over here, I'm like, oh, Tim Hortons are everywhere. It's like a popping up, every 1 mile you can see the
yeah.
same way in the state. So the Starbucks every one
And
mile, 2 mile.
and one more aspect is racism, right? We personally don't experience that much here in Canada, but in US it's quite a hot political topic, right? So have you faced racism as a student in US firsthand?
So let's talk about racism a little here. It's about not racism, but it's like a white privilege that people see. People like especially on the white people, they never agree to say that they have white privilege, but they always there. When we are in the line and white people is there and I'm there, and yeah, always they choose that, hey, white people, what you need. I'm like, they are people like me, but they always have that kind of tense in the state that people always put them ahead of us. And sometimes when talk about opportunities after work, after study or work level or in the seniorities, yeah, you always see somewhere that
On a
they
subtle
have
level, right?
certain
Not,
level, you always say.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, though I'm not a black, but black people always see the racism because we always see in the news that, hey, Black Lives Matter, things going
Mm.
on.
So
So
Canada
yeah,
does
this
that
is
better, yeah.
yeah, that particular
So
certain.
the US and Canadian friendship is like, one of the best international allies in the world. So do you think we, like as Indians, as neighbors, are doing wrong? Because we always tend to look our neighbors as enemies, but here, like being two developed countries, they are allies, they are friends. So what do you think the world can learn from US Canada relationship?
Actually, it's a wonderful topic that you talked about. But let's talk about neighbors and personal growth and GDPs and economy and happiness for the people. What we need as a nation, that we need people to look for us, learn from us, and we learn from others. Whatever they are doing best, we learn from them. What we doing best, they learn from us. There is competition is good, but healthy competition has to be there. If there is no healthy competition, there is no way one country go ahead without others. Then you cannot go there. In the same hand, states and Canada, they are working hand to hand. Like, let's talk about research developments. States doing better. Then other hand, Canada provide what labor to whom? To state. That's how they work collaboratively, and the
Together.
collaboration is always the key point when we work as a nation.
Thank you. Any last closing comments?
Last closing comments. Okay. So that there are like the thing is that both countries have their own points where, so wherever you go, just enjoy your life. There are
Correct.
always there is always certain thing that you can do in both countries, whether you are in the state and the Canada. The nature and the beauty in Canada, you cannot beat it. Then the same hand, money and the reputation and the lifestyle, you cannot beat in this. So there are certain aspects. People has to choose what their priority is, and then they have to move on with that particular way.
Thank you, Mr. Pratik. Thank you so
Oh,
much. It was really insightful to have you on the podcast. Hope to see you next time. And
uh,
rock and roll in your US
bye.
trip next time.
Choose what's
Bye,
right
guys.
Bye bye.
and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed.